get us a record.
We haven't really talked about Kim Fowley in our story yet, and actually the fact that we knew Kim Fowley makes the avoiding of craziness that much more interesting.
If you don't know Kim Fowley, just Google Kim Fowley. He's a legend.
Okay.
He's depicted in the Runaways movie.
So he drove you to South by Southwest?
We met Kim Fowley, and he said we should go to South by Southwest for some other people.
Where did
we
he
ended up
meet
there.
you? Were you just in Tulsa?
In Tulsa, at an event, where people were trying to make Tulsa a music town, and of course the way you make Tulsa a music town is by having musicians there. It's not by incentives. It's by that sort of uncontrollable need to create. And Tulsa has a rich music history. Oklahoma especially has all kinds of variety. Tulsa Sound, Leon Russell, and J.J. Cale, and
Gap Band, and there's a long.
Are these guys that inspired you, like Tulsa musicians that inspired you?
There's a group of musicians that definitely played, I would say, more in the last 15 to 20 years in our career and inspiration, but historically it's called the Tulsa Sound. It's that mix of country and blues and Midwest and kind of...
And R&B. A lot of gospel R&B type flavor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Between Memphis and Dallas, you got Tulsa, and that's kind of what that sound is. But so the story with South by Southwest is we were busking.
Also, how old were you? How old were you at South by Southwest in 1994?
I was 9. Yeah, so I was 9, and we said, where's the music industry people? They were at the record label softball match. So all the major labels picking people from their staff to play softball against each other. It doesn't exist anymore. It was a great thing because that actually was a time when there was enough company culture to do those kinds of things.
Okay.
And then they'd also probably pick some random, radio DJ and some other things, and it'd be radio station versus label and things.
Do you have a plan? Is there a plan of what you guys are going to do when you get to South by Southwest?
We had no plan. We literally walked to different places. We went to the Four Seasons and busked. We went to the softball game and busked.
Little hustlers.
And our manager, the guy who became our manager, saw us and said, "Where are your parents?" And then when he met our parents, who were obviously there with us, he said, "How can I help you? I'm an attorney." And we said, "We've got an attorney." He said, "Well, I have to work with you, so I'll be your manager." And that ended up being a really great relationship for a long time. He's not our manager anymore. We still love Christopher. There's a long history there too. Because when you've been a band for 30 years, there's always history.
So y'all had not recorded Middle of Nowhere yet at this point?
No, this would have been, we had recorded one album already locally. We were about to record the album that had Bop on it, and then that was what we shopped to about 13 different labels who all turned us down, and then the same label after the third time finally signed us, and that had Bop on it, that had a song called Thinking of You on it, that had With You in Your Dreams on it. So a lot of that first record was on there, though it ended up being re-recorded and really improved and bettered by the involvement of the Dust Brothers as producers and Steve Laroni, who produced that record.
Do y'all have vivid memory? I mean, this was a long time ago, guys. And I know y'all have been talking about Bop for 30 years now. But do you have vivid memories of going back to that time?
You kids don't do drugs. It impairs your memory. No, I'm kidding. No. I mean, as far as I know, I have pretty good memories of a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of people that'll come up and be like, "Hey, do you remember this thing and that thing?" I don't remember that exactly.
Do you remember coming to Grapevine Mills Mall?
Yes.
At 6 a.m. with 106.1.
Yes.
Kid Craddock in the morning.
Yes. Kid was a lovely guy.
He was a lovely guy.
We had a long relationship with Kid and did a lot of things with him and his Kid for Kids and
that was like a sad day for the music industry for sure. No. So so
we're lucky to have so much history and to travel the world year over year, album over album. That's one of the things I think that we really are always baffled by and amazed by, and try and live up to this idea that we're still traveling the world. We just spent about a month in Norway playing shows. Our last international tour was about 400 dates, and equally shows in Brazil and Australia and the UK and all over Europe as it is in the US and Canada. And to still be a band that can travel the world and see fans of all different sort of ethnicities and language and have that connection. It's sort of, I guess, when you're a band that also writes songs that don't have words in it, that are the same words in every language, whether it's Portuguese or Italian.
Wait. You mean to tell me mbop is mbop?
In all
languages? Okay.
All the English words, no, they have to be translated. But the chorus can be sung by anyone, which again, I always tease that it's funny, especially now looking back. Only teenagers, only young kids would have been brave enough to do a song like that, because in a sense, like you get to about 20 years old and you're like, whoa, I don't know, we got to put like maybe some more other words in the chorus.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, Hey Jude is still the most epic sing-along ever. Na, 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 na. Like, I'm sorry. I think the beauty of being a creator, of being somebody who is the idea is to create the unexpected, or the thing that people don't know they want. I was talking to one of the young people who works in our staff at the 3CG Records, our record label, and she said, what do you think about the idea of AI writing songs? And I said, it's already happening. There's a lot of people that are already doing it, whether you know it or not. But the real thing about it is that AI is still just algorithms created by people, and it's really hard to create an algorithm for the thing people don't know they want yet. And I'm not saying it won't happen eventually, but it's not there yet. And that's really the job of creators, is to do the next thing. This is where the big things come from. I mean, if you've ever been in the music industry and you write songs or produce for people, you understand record labels are coming to you every day saying, can you copy that guy who's successful? AI can do that. The thing it can't do is things like mbop, things like Hootie and the Blowfish, things like,
Michael Jackson.
What I mean is, like, when...
Because they can't moonwalk. AI can't moonwalk,
I was about to
amongst
say,
other
there's
things.
some things they can't do yet with AI.
When Billie Eilish is writing stuff in her bedroom and it all of a sudden is like, I haven't heard that before, that's not going to show up on an AI algorithm, because it's genuinely something drawn from an individual.
It doesn't have a soul.
It doesn't know how to create what it hasn't been told to do yet. That's not true of children. That's not true of adults if you cultivate that in your life and your brain.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Walk me back to this vivid memory. I have one burning question here. You record this album. It sets you off on a trajectory that I'm sure none of you had any idea like where that was going to go. Did this worldwide instant fame, I mean, just crazy, blew up.
Fame,
You guys are brothers. How did you lean on each other? Did it draw you closer together to deal with this fame, or did you have some challenges and struggles in dealing with it?
Well, did you have challenges and struggles dealing with it? Absolutely, of course you did. I mean, like amongst other things, fame at that level is very, very isolating. It's actually, you feel a little bit like a monkey in a cage. Because it's very hard to go out and do normal things. Like stop being able to go to the mall. I used to go to the mall with my friends before that. Can't do that anymore. Or the movies or anything like that. And there are ways to kind of get around it, but you got to be strategic about it. Go into the movie after the lights are down. And then things like that. And luckily, I think that's where kind of living in Oklahoma kind of played into it, because it was actually easier, I think, for us to kind of feel a little bit of normalcy in spite of the chaos. But I would say,
I think we were gifted unknowingly preparation for it. So we had already seen at a smaller scale what it looked like to see Screaming Girls. It was this crazy thing that started happening even in Oklahoma and Texas and Kansas. Like, we were doing shows, and whether it was 300 or 500 or 700, there was all of a sudden it was like Screaming Girls, and you're like, okay, so this thing, I kind of know what that is. There's a big difference between 500 and 50,000.
How you can still hear
90,000, right?
Yeah.
We can't hear.
Yeah, like I have a 3-year-old that screams and I'm losing my hearing just from one.
But the weird thing about it is is when you go above, say, when you go to 5,000 people, then it's so impersonal, that next 20,000 people, that you kind of had that experience. Now, if they all try and get on stage at the same time, that's very different, and we've seen that happen enough. But I think the other thing we were gifted with was that none of our peers were doing music the way we were doing it. And so even when we were in Oklahoma, our friends, our neighbors, other kids in church, like, they're going to school, they're going to soccer practice, they're going to school dances, and we're playing concerts on the weekend, right? We're skipping out on those kind of activities to be a band making music, and it already is written into that music, the sense of loss, the sense of choosing your path. Umbop is all about the idea that very few things will last, and in umbop they'll be gone, right? It's written into the music, and so when we reach that moment, you're never prepared to experience that first time success, but it was what we were shooting for. Like, it was surprising that it happened, but it wasn't like, how do we get here? It was like, wow, it worked.
Yeah, exactly. Well, also, like, so songs like Weird, which are on the album Middle of Nowhere, which is what, Umbop is on that record, and Umbop actually are kind of like the same song in a lot of respects. The themes of those songs are almost identical, and it's about trying to find your place in the world, searching, kind of trying to figure out, how to kind of not be misunderstood. Like, you're kind of working through these feelings of isolation and loss, and trying to kind of say, hey, it's going to be okay. It's
But you guys
isn't
were
it weird? But
doing
we're
at
all
such a young
weird.
age. I mean, like, the depth of what you were singing about and writing about, or I'm like, have they really experienced all that already at this age? Like, how do you write about something at such a deep level if you haven't experienced it, or had you all experienced?
I think we had already experienced two very important things. One was to be othered, not even intentionally. People would say to our friends, "Oh, don't worry, they'll be done with that music thing, and they'll get real jobs later," right? So we had already,
like, the parents of some of our friends, quote.
But the other thing was we were raised in a Christian family where you knew that your place in the world was not about how other people saw you or how other people treated you. It was what you did for them, the stories you left, the way you loved people. And so every trial was more of an opportunity just to live out that belief system.
Yeah.
And
kudos to your parents. Have they written a parenting book on how your children survive the entertainment industry?
It's funny because I don't think I've seen this happen a few times with my mom. It's so funny because she really could probably write a parenting book. It would be definitely very much like, hey, just don't squash their spark. Would be kind of the essence of it.
Yeah.
But she's actually surprisingly not interested in attention or spotlight. She gets kind of funny. Like, she was a performer in college and in high school, but when it comes to some of those things, it's interesting. She kind of doesn't seem to want to pursue that on a big scale, and doesn't seem to want that kind of attention. I don't know exactly what that is.
I think both of them have the best qualities that you see negatively portrayed in stage parents, in the sense that a stage parent wants you to be what they could not be, whereas they have just received so much by watching us succeed at what we dreamed of being, that it's really filled all of that need for spotlight for them, I think, in a way that is really just telling of their character.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it's anything that got passed on to you guys, it's just, y'all seem to have very deep roots. You're very grounded. I've had such a fun conversation with both of you.
Thank you.
By the way, we are a little bit rebellious in our own way. Don't let the good manners fool you.
Oh, well, now he's given us a lot more to dive into later on. The rebellious days of Hanson.
The funny thing in 2024, to be goody two-shoes is the most rebellious thing you could ever be.
You're so right.
To be like, look, I really don't care how you see me, because it's how I see myself and what I'm supposed to be doing in the world that really defines who I am. That's the most rebellious thing, to not care. And
that's really what I'm saying is, like, look, we've done things our own way for a very, very long time. And the reason why we've done our things our own way is because it was about trying to do them the way that we felt like was not only the most advantageous to our career at the time.
Yeah.
In other words, keeping things going in spite of being told by many people that, hey, you can't do this and you can't do that, and maybe it's over and this and that. No, we're going to fight the good fight and keep going. But in addition to that, I think we just have a lot of fight in us. Basically, it's really what I mean. Don't tell us
farmers.
no. Don't tell us no. We'll keep pushing.
I love it. So what are you guys up to today? What's going on now?
So this is an interesting year for us. It's the 20-year anniversary of starting our independent record label, and so we'll be on tour in October all throughout the fall, promoting a re-release of that album from 20 years ago with all kinds of special material that wasn't released in the original album, as well as the tour is kind of special. We're a band because we have 3 writers, 3 singers, 3 producers in the band, there's a really wide variety of the style that shows up in the music, and so these shows are 2 nights in every city, one fully acoustic, one fully electric, so we can just play so much different music, and it has some really great friends that are coming out with us. Matthew Sweet, he's a just amazing pop songwriter, Andy Darling, and then the band Phantom Planet are coming out with us.
No way, are you coming to Dallas?
Close, we're coming to Austin.
Yeah.
That's close enough. I'll make a trip down there.
Yeah, it's a little ways, yeah.
This is an interesting tour. It's really not about hitting every market. It's very small. It's 12 cities, 24 shows. But for us, it's just about taking that time to really celebrate those important milestones with your fan base. So much of what we do when we come on stage and you're finishing the show, we almost always end our shows saying, look, if you come back, we get to come back. Because the relationship of an artist with their fans is the most powerful thing. That's, I think, what the social media has still yet to understand. It's not about metrics, it's about the meaning. And when you reach into that relationship where people are devoted to each other, they'll change platforms. They'll find other ways. They'll once you got a tattoo, like you are bonded to each other through thick and thin. And we've been so incredibly lucky and blessed to have that from so many people saying, like, this is an important band.
Yeah.
And we're going to.
So this is a new audience with Parlor.
Yeah.
Where do people find you? Like, where do you want them to listen to your music, to watch your content, to follow along personally as a band?
So there's obviously all the main social media and music streaming platforms, whether you're Apple or Amazon or Spotify, YouTube, those kind of things. So we're all there. But really our focus for more than 20 years has been on our website, Hanson.net, which is more of a community website. If you sign up to be a member of Hanson.net, you get access to every song we've ever released, every album. It's just part of being a member. And every year,
all the things that are not on Spotify and things like that as well.
And so if there's, I'll just funny numbers. If there's 100 songs on Spotify, there's 300 songs on Hanson.net. There's more music there, released, written, recorded every year just for members, as well as streams every quarter, as well as podcasts every month.
You guys do a podcast?
Yeah, but only to Hanson.net members.
Okay.
And so we try and really say, look, if you'll invest in us, we'll invest in you and give you the kind of experiences that every fan really dreams of having. We don't want to have that kind of algorithmic relationship with our fans where you may or may not see what we're doing. We want you to say, look, if you'll buy an album, you're going to be a part of this community and these experiences all the time.
And so our membership is basically the cost of a ticket. And as a little side note, you get access to a bunch of things for free as a part of that ticket. Amongst other things, you can go to our annual, birthday party, basically, our anniversary every year in May. We have a free event.
A 4-day festival in Oklahoma with, it's got all kinds of events as well as like sporting events, like you can join bowling teams and do that and win a contest, but you can also go to Hanson Art Galleries, Hanson podcasts, Hanson lectures, concerts. There's all kinds of stuff.
All right. Well, it only seemed fitting while we are here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to meet with the darlings of Tulsa, Oklahoma with Hanson. So everyone, please go and check them out. They are incredible musicians. Thank you for sitting down and taking time with me today. The story is not over. I can't wait to dive in more on a future show. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.